story.
Nneka and the Wishing Well. Once upon a time in a village called Ume lived three beautiful sisters called Ada, Uju, and Ngozi. Their beauty was the talk of the town as it radiated under the sun. They had a younger sister whom they hated so much. She was the last daughter in the family, whose name was Nneka. They had an aged mother called Ngozi, who was Nneka's stepmother. She loved her three daughters so much as she hated Nneka because she was born by the second wife who died same day she gave birth to Nneka. It was that same day that her husband died. It was the reason why Nneka's sister hated her. They called her an Ogbanje and believed that she killed their father and her mother. They made Nneka do all the hard work at home. One day, they sent her to the old well in the village woods late in the evening, as they have exhausted all the water Nneka had fetched earlier that day. "But I just filled the drums from the stream 2 hours ago," cried Nneka in tears. "Well, it's finished," Azuka retorted while her daughters laughed in mockery. "But Mama, it's not fair," said Nneka as she took an empty jerrycan. "I am not your mother," thundered Azuka, "and you don't tell me what is right or wrong as long as I feed you in this house. But I make all the money in this house, Mama, while my sisters do nothing. I farm, cook, clean, fetch water, and sell our farm produce in the market," Nneka was saying. "And so what?" shouted Ada. "Will you get going to the well before darkness finally closes in on you?" Uju advised with a cuttle. Nneka was so sad as she walked out of the house and headed towards the woods that evening. She was crying sadly. When she got to the well, she began to fetch water. An old woman passing through came to her and asked for a cup of water. "Please, my daughter, can I have a cup of water? I am a traveler and I've been traveling for days without drinking water or eating anything." Nneka took pity on the old woman and gladly gave her water from the water she had already fetched. The old woman was grateful. "I will reward you," she said. She gave her a mini clay pot and asked her to make a wish on it and break it when she gets home. Nneka thanked her profusely, carried her jerrycan on her head, and with the mini pot under her arm, she headed home. When she got home, she dropped the water and headed to one of her mother's farm in the compound. There, she made a wish on the pot and broke it. Suddenly, a mighty, gigantic house appeared from nowhere. The house was made of gold. It had many servants and bodyguards. One portion of the rooms in the house was filled with all types of treasures. When Azuka and her children came out of the house and learned what happened, they came to the gate and tried to get in. They were banging and banging and banging on the gate, calling on Nneka to open for them, but the bodyguards refused to let them in. They were still outside the gate shouting when a driver drove out from inside the house, carrying Nneka inside of the car and out of the compound. It was one of the latest cars. This made Azuka and her children so angry. How could everything just change overnight for Nneka? In less than 2 weeks, Nneka became a top prominent person in the society. Men and women that mattered tripped into her compound to seek her. Azuka and her own daughters were seeing everything and visibly angry. One evening, Azuka called her 3 daughters. "One of you must go to that well and do exactly what she did," thundered Azuka to her daughters. "We're not going anywhere," cried the girls. "Then you will eat nothing in this house," Azuka said angrily. "It's a shame to you all to allow that church rat mess with you 3 big for nothing girls. Don't insult us, Mama." "Oh, okay, I will go." She took a jerrycan and walked out of the house. "Don't fall with that gallon, no," Ada screamed out in mockery because she knew that she and her sisters had never fetched water all their lives. At the well, Ngozi pretended to be fetching water when an old woman came to meet her to ask her for a cup of water. "Please, my daughter, I am a traveler and I've been traveling for days. Can you help me with some water from your jerrycan? My throat is parched," cried the woman. Oh, Ngozi felt irritated by her presence. She hissed at her and instead of giving her water to drink, she poured the water in her jerrycan on the woman. "You mad woman, leave my presence now. I am waiting for something more." The old woman, visibly angry, left. Ngozi waited till evening for a sign, magic, and got none. Then she carried her empty jerrycan and walked home. Azuka was disappointed when she saw her. "How could you reject the help of the wishing well?" she shouted. "But Mama, I didn't know she was the one. She was looking all dirty and unkempt." How could I possibly give such a dirty woman water? "Well, you've missed her," cried Azuka. "Now someone else has to go after her." Uju decided to go to the well. She took a jerrycan and went to the well and met the old woman, who asked her for water. "Can I have some water to drink?" cried the old woman. "I've been traveling for days without food or water." Uju grudgingly gave the old woman some water from her jerrycan. "I want what you gave my half-sister," said Uju, when the old woman asked her to make a request to reward her. "You mean the kind girl? She was your sister? How about the arrogant one?" asked the old woman. "Please, woman," shouted Uju, "give me what I asked for and stop asking me stupid questions." The old woman was taken aback by her response, but all the same, she decided to reward Uju as promised. She brought out 2 pots, a small one and big one, and as she stretched out her hand to give her the small one, Uju grabbed the big one and ran away without waiting for further instructions. She was afraid the old woman might change her mind. "Make a reasonable wish and break it," shouted the old woman after her. When Uju got home, she ran into the house and told her mother and siblings that she was successful. They were all happy and began to wish upon the pot. They wished that they took away Nneka's wealth and make it theirs, while Nneka becomes their maid. They broke the pot, and suddenly 4 masquerades appeared and began to flog them so mercilessly that they ran out of their house and never came back. The lessons to be learned from this story are that kindness is rewarded while greed and envy are punished. Wickedness has its consequences. The end.
Thanks for listening to this story. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, like and share. Also comment where you're watching from. We love and appreciate you. Bye.